And today we will go start with arrays. Okay. Um, so, what is an array? When to use the purpose of the array, and what are the types?
Pawan, excuse me, Pawan.
Yeah.
We don't see the presentation. Are you sharing the presentation?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Just
like this.
confirming.
Yeah. I was sharing. Yeah. Why it's happening like this? Okay. So we will start about arrays. So first thing, when to come to the when coming to the picture, when we think, okay, we just think, okay, array is a very big thing, and we try to make the things unnecessarily complex. First thing, for a simple to understand, array is nothing but in data type. Array is also and data type, like integer, float, string. The same way, array is also a data type. Don't try to make the things complex. Usually, we see that people, whenever they think about array, they think, okay, it's very complex thing, it's a very big thing. We have to do a lot of the things over there. Nothing. It has a very simple concept. Simple, simple as we are working for the other data types, because array is also an data type. Okay. Basically, first thing array is a data type. Hmm? So what are the data type? Like integer, what the integer do? Integer stores a value. Same array also stores a value. Integer stores only one value at a time, but the array is going to store n number of values depending upon the size. That's it. If you are declaring the size of an array is 5, then on the only one variable of array, the array variable can able to store 5 values in a only one variable. You can see that in the previous example we worked on the um, calculating the students total. So there what we have did, we have took the 6 variables separately for subject 1, subject 2 for English, Kannada, Telugu, um, computer science. For 6 subjects we took the 6 variables. Here we can create only one variable. That variable type will be an array, so that the one variable is going to store values for the 6. That's it. Okay. Array is that it is going to store the values for the variable, for the multiple values. You have to mention the size of an array. If the size of an array is 5, then the same variable, then the array variable is going to be stored with the 5 values. If your array size is 10, it is going to be stored 10. If the array size is 20, 20. Okay. So here one thing is that we have to know how much size you are going to create. Depending on that, you can do your things. Means, in advance, you must know what is the size of array you are going to create. Okay. So you can store values of 10, 20, infinite, but again the important thing is size. You have to be known in advance, so that the array variable is going to create that many number of memory locations internally, and is going to assign the values. Okay. And size, and one more thing, can array store different data types? String, double, or floating values? Yes, array can store different data types, but you cannot combine it. For example, I'm creating an array variable for the integer, then the array is going to store all only integer values in that. If I'm creating an array for the string means it's going to store only string values. You cannot combine string with integer arrays. Array is independent. It can be stored string values. You can create array for the floating values. You can create array for the double values. You can create array for the any other data type values. But you cannot club the both things. If you are creating array for the integer, then that array will store only integer values. no matter size. If you give the size 100 integer values, but you cannot clip, okay, 50 I want integer, 50 I want string. You cannot club it. Then you have to create another array for a string array and integer array. You have to create separately. You cannot club the things of the different data types. You can club for the same data types, but you cannot club for the different data types in an array. Okay. From previously we cannot able to assign integer string value to the integer, right? Same in array concepts also. Array, we cannot assign different data types in the array. You cannot club different. You have to be specific. If you're creating integer values, then the array will hold only the integer values. If you're able to store, if you're creating array for the string, means only string, right? Okay. So another one, what is an array? Obviously array is in data type, but it is also in predefined classes. Okay, it comes from the predefined classes. So has definition says it is a collection of similar variables. So it is a collection of similar types which are stored in sequential order and in the contiguous memory locations. Two things you have to keep. You can give the importance here. First one is similar type of values. Similar type of values means same data types. Okay, and another one is how they are stored. They are stored in sequential order. The value which are going to be assigned first, that will be stored in the index of 0. The value which are going to be assigned second, that will be going to the index of 1. So the similar data types, two things you have to keep in mind when you're discussing about an array. First major one is similar types of values, means similar types of data types, similar data types. First one. Second one is it is storing in a sequential order. Okay. So, types of an array, like the for loop, we have the even in the for loop we have the one-dimensional arrays, two-dimensional arrays, right? In the same arrays also is going to have the single-dimensional arrays, multi-dimensional arrays. We will discuss. We will say an example so that it will be clear. So how we are going to declare an array? Declaration, another important things, because here we are seeing about the syntax. What is the syntax? You have to mention an data type, right? Data type. What are the data type? Integer, float, string, and array name. For example, integer. I want to create for the integer. I create the integer name. Sorry, I create the data type integer. This brackets indicates you are creating integer array. Opening and closing bracket indicates array is going to create. You are working for an array. Array name. So name of an array can be anything. For the employee ID, you are going to store the employee ID for employee IDs. Okay. So what we are creating? We are creating an integer array for employee ID. Okay. So data type means if you are creating an array for the string, the data type will be string. If you are creating array for the floating values, you can go with the float, you can go with the double. If you're creating the array for storing the huge number like telephone number and heavy Aadhaar card number, any number with integer, you go with the log. If you're going with the mixed characters, like a character which contains both, like Aadhaar card, which having the characters and the number, then go for string. If you're storing only the purely name and surname, address, which contains string, go for the string. Okay. So Syntax is that simple data type, opening and opening and the closing bracket. Opening and closing bracket indicates you are going to create an array. It says to the compiler, okay, whenever you create opening and closing bracket after the data type, it says they are working on array. Array is going to be created by this name, array name. Whatever name you give, that will be an array name. You can say the variable. If you go in the deep, when we start discussing the OOPS concepts, then we will say this is not a variable, this is an object. Okay. So still we are not starting the object. We try to keep it as a simple. Okay. When we keep on learning on the higher side of the things, then you can see the what we are studying previously that are going to be changed, because as we keep on learning, right, our thinking level also gets improvised. Okay, we say, okay, we are saying an array is a variable, but it's not a variable, it's an object. We are going to say control dot right line method. What is console? What is right line? So that whenever you keep on learning of the things more and more, we'll get more clarity. Okay. As of now, just let's not confuse much. Simple, just data type and opening and closing. What is opening and closing indicates? It indicates the programmer or the developer who's working on this code is trying to create an array. If you want to create an array, you have to use this opening and closing brackets. Then name of an array, whatever the name if you want. If you want to store employee ID, keep a meaningful name. You can keep anything usually, X, Y, Z. But it's not a good way of naming conventions. Always give the names for the variable which is very suitable to your code, which is suitable to your business logic. If you're storing for the employee ID, give the name array underscore employee ID. So you can indicate, okay, it's an array for the employee ID, or else employee ID underscore array. So you have to give a meaningful name so that it's easy to understand, easy to go through. Student ID, student name. So whatever meaningful is that. And one more thing is that, yeah, here you can see that these are the examples. If you're going to be store an integer, can store it integer values here. For the string, you can see string opening and closing brace name. Okay, don't use like X, S, no. Give the proper naming convention. Even I try to modify here also. Okay. Double student. Syntax is same whatever data type you use. Don't confuse again over there. Whether you're creating for the integer, string, double, or store, or student can supply your user defined custom, you can say. We'll see about that. Whatever data type you create, the syntax will be the same. Okay. See the works of one dimensional array. The array will store the data form in a sequential order. You can see here. Here is an integer. This is usually we called an object. Usually we call this as an array object. Okay. What is a new? New is a memory allocator. New will allocate memory for array object. It is nothing but we are discussing about class and objects. Okay. Whenever you create a class, you have to create an object. Okay. When we discuss about OOPS concept, we will get more clarity on this. If you will go deep on this, then we have to go with the class and object. Okay. First, we'll complete the array. After array, in the next class, we'll start OOPS concepts, right? Okay. As of now, you just remember this. This is data type. This is an array object, you can say, or still no, we can, for simple understanding, you can say array variable. Okay, but technically it's an object. New is going to allocate memory and integer. Here 5. What is the 5? 5 is size of an array. Means how much value you are going to be stored, how much value you want to store. Then that many values is going to be created internally. If you want to score there are 50 students in your class. If you want to score 50 student IDs, then the integer of the array size is going to be 50. Then you can easily, in the same array object, you can store 50 students record, 50 student IDs. Okay, this is about the size. This you have to mention. This is different ways of initializing, assigning. You can split this in the first half and the second half. So don't try to keep yourself confused. Don't confuse much in the different ways. Just you can go with the standard one, so that in the one line you can understand things. Okay, and this is that hard coded values. If you want to, for a practice purpose, if you know the value predefined values, then you can assign here itself. Integer is there, data type, variable or the object, and the values. Okay. Here comes the how the array is going to be stored. Has by starting we said the array is going to store in the sequential order. Okay, so which comes first, that is going to be stored in the first value. Whatever value you first you are first what the value first value you are sending, then the first value is going to store in the first index. What is index here? Index is nothing but for the memory values identification, because internally the values are storing in the RAM memory. It's a reference type, right? It's going to be stored in the reference area. If internally they are going to be stored to separate, like in the heap memory and the stack memory locations. Variables are okay, and index is that the positions you can see. It's not exactly a memory location. The memory location is different. The memory location, the where the whole values is going to be stored. But for our reference, for our understanding, we can say this are positions where the value is going to store. Okay. So for the, if you enter the value of 20, first come it is going to be assigned in the first values. 20 if is stored, then the 20 is going to be stored in the zeroth index. Remember, it is going to be started with a 0. Like for anything which is like for loop, we will initialize with 0. We can initialize with the 1 also in the for loop, but usually we initialize with 0, right? So here also in the array, the whatever value you are sending, first value is going to be stored in the 0th position. It starts with a 0. So 20 is going to be stored in the 0th position. 21 is going to be stored in the first position, up to 29th is the 9th position. There are 10 values here, but you can see the index is 9. Don't confuse. They started with the 0. That's the reason. Even though it is 10, it is going to be with the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because while calculating, we think, okay, I assigned 10 values, but I can see only 9 here. Something is missing. It's not missing. We have started with the 0, because at the beginning level, like the fresher, we get confused. I'm sending the 10 values because in our mindset we are designed in such a way that okay, I have sent the 10 values, it has to be 10 there. We usually forget, we usually ignore. Here we are starting with the 0 values. We are starting with the 0th position. So be careful. What is the lower bound values and the upper bound values? The lower bound is starting with the 0. Upper bound depends on the size. If your size is 100, then it will be 99. Because we are adding the 0, we are starting with the 0. Okay, your first value is going to be stored in the 0th index and followed by the incrementing numbers 1, 2, 3 up to the size of your array. Okay, if you want to store the string values, then just create here as a string. You want to store the name, same process, same syntax, open and closing bracket, enter name here. Okay, same thing, followed by, subtracted by the comma. After the first value, you need to subtract by the comma for the second values. After that, close this, right? So same string with string will be within the double quote. It's enclosed within the double quote. Don't forget the basic, or else it will give the error. If you are using for the characters, character is enclosed in the single quote. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is clear. Just we'll go back. What is an array again? Array will store the same data type, similar data type in the sequential order. It can store anything, integer, floating, values, any values, but it has the values what you're saving, the values which you're giving, it has to match to the data type. The value you're sending for the integer, it has to be integer. If a value sending the array type is the string, then it will accept only the string values. If array type is double, you have to assign only the values has to be only for the double. You cannot club the different data types in an array. Types of an array, two data types, single, multi-dimensional. We'll go to this. Okay, declaration, just data type followed by the opening and the closing brackets, followed by the array name. Opening and the closing bracket identifies you are going to be create an array. It says that it is going to use specify the type of an element of an array, and it also specifies you're creating the size, how much size you are storing in the. Okay, if the size is and one more important thing in array is that you have to know well in advance what the size you are going to be create. Whether you're going to create an array or size of 5, then you can add only the 5 values. If you're creating array size of the 50, then you can add the 50 values. The size is better to know well in advance. Okay. The declaration is same, data types followed by the brackets and the array name, whether it may be the string, integer or double. Okay. Here is the memory representations, how it's going to be stored. The first value is going to be in the first index. Second value, second index. Keep on incrementing up to the size minus 1. Why size minus 1? Because the array starts with the 0. Okay. Because array starts from 0. Here you can see that array starts from 0. So the lower bound, the position will be the 0th position. First position will be the 0. Second one, incrementing up to size minus 1. What the size here? Size is 10. 10 minus 1, 9. If you are creating for the 100 minus 1, 99 will be the upper bound. Lower bound is fixed. Lower bound is 0. The same thing we have discussed. With a two-dimensional or multi-dimensional array, we have to specify with the two values I and j. Okay. In the same way, like in loop we had g, right? I row and the j column, I and j. The same way, the arrays are going to be worked. Okay, first we will see some small examples about the arrays. Then we will go for the array list. Today I think we can complete the both array and array list with the small example. If still anything deeper is mentioned, we can continue for tomorrow. But today we try to complete some basic examples for array and array list. Just a minute, I am opening an editor. Till then, if you have anything to ask, anything to share, please you can.
Hello, Pawan.
Yes.
I have a note.
Okay.
In C# coding, using console application, can I store the any values in database like SQL Server or?
You can store database for a specific column.
No, I'm asking about like using in your, for example, employee information, writing code in C# coding. And these values they have to go and store to the database. It is possible?
Like it's possible. You can store any number of values in the getter type. Means the column.
Uh,
If you're creating column for the number, then
uh,
number will save. If you're creating the column
okay.
for the varchar will save any values. Like varchar is like a
Okay.
varchar is like a string.
Okay.
In the varchar, you can save any type. So,
Okay. Fine.
number or the string. If you're storing for the date in the database, then you have to create the date while creating the column.
Okay. Using C sharp in this console application is possible.
From console also possible.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, okay. I got it. I got it. You are asking for the console. Okay, okay.
Yes. Yes.
I got it. It's possible, possible. Even from the console also we can do it. Connecting the data.
You have to give the. Yes. Yes. We
Yeah.
have to give the. Okay.
Okay.
Later
See.
we'll give the example of that if it is possible.
Okay. After the console applications, we try to create the connecting database.
Okay. Fine. Fine, Pawan. Okay. Fine. No problem.
Okay. We'll see from the console application also, and we'll see from the Windows application also.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
After Windows application, we will discuss about the web applications. Like we'll start MVC. How the
Okay. Okay.
yeah, fine.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Thank you.
Okay. So first we'll check with the integer data type. So integer. This is I mentioned the size. Okay. Here we start with the first we'll go with the some static values, means the value which is already predefined in the array. Array underscore so the static values and the closing. This is the syntax we have prepared. So this is for the static values. Then we'll go for the dynamic values. Static values, I know there are 10 students in my class, so that I can assign the values like it will start first, it will start with the 100. Go with the 5. So what you're doing, you're creating an array for storing or for displaying student ID. You can see the integer what will be the case here. In the student ID, how much I'm creating? I'm creating the 5 students student ID, means 5 records I'm creating in the single array type. If you go for the integer normal integer is not without array, then it will hold only the one values, right? If you go with the comma separator, it will give an error. You can see the error is skipped. What it's saying? Identify expected or only assignment or increment object. It's saying that you are checking for assignment or increment. So in the integer data type, for the integers, if you try to give more than one value, it will throw an error. So in that case, for the 5 students, what we have to do, we have to go with the 5 values: student 1, student 2, and student 3. Okay. It is not an error. Whenever you're getting the green color underline, it's not an error. It says that you're not used. You're taking the variable, but you're not used. It's not an error. It is correct. So here there are 5 values, 5 IDs I'm trying to store. Okay, so that it's not that much problem for me for creating 5 separate variables. Okay, I think I can manage with the 5. Even I can manage with the things. But when you're working for the dynamic numbers, for the 50, 100, when the number increases, when the number crosses, you cannot create that many variables. You cannot create 50 variables for storing the IDs. It's a bad programming. So for that reason, they have introduced with arrays. What is array? It is going to be stored the sequential value. It is going to store the values of the similar data types in the sequential order. You can see here data type is similar, right? 100 is integer, 101 is integer, 103 is integer, 104 is integer, 105 is integer. So the array can store similar data type in sequential order. How they are going to be stored? In the sequential order. You can say that even in the array memory location, 100 is going to be stored in the value of 100 is going to be stored in the index of 0. 101 is going to be stored in the first position, 102 in the second position, 103 in the third position, and this in the fourth position. The size is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 is the upper bound. What is the lower bound? Lower bound is 0. Okay. In this way, it's going to be said. Okay, if I put, what happened if I put here string error, immediately error. It says that cannot implicitly convert string to integer. It says that you're creating the integer array, but you're giving a string value. It is not accepted. So if I give the floating values double or that, error again. Mismatch. Here you can see missing a cast or represent the double floating point for the integer. So you cannot club for a different number. If you really want to store the string array, then you have to create for the string name. String data type will be the string array for, we're creating an array for student name. Say any name. Okay, see, I forgot to give the brackets here. Okay, if you don't give these brackets, it will throw an error. Because it will think, if you're not given opening and closing brackets, it will think like a normal string, like this or not. So if you want to mention, no, it's not a normal string, we are creating an array, then add this brackets, closing brackets. Okay, it will assign the values, dynamic values over there. And name you can give here. The array can store anything, but it has to be matched to the data type. Here matching to the data type. Here Ajay, Carry, Rahul, all those things are string. Data type is string. Here the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is are their integer. What is array type? Array type is also an integer. Okay. So this is hard values which are going to be assigned predefined. Dynamic assigning also we will see. Okay, so now what we want to show, we want to display the values. How to display the values? So how we can display? Earlier, how we used to see console.writeLine ID, student ID. ID equal to what are the variable because it's the one value where we are able to show like this, then the student ID is going to display. But for the array, we can show this possible only one way here. If we show this way, are we going to get these numbers? No, because it is not storing in a single memory location. It is storing in the different indexes. It is storing 100 is storing in the 0, 101 storing in the 1 index, right? Things Yeah. So earlier how we used to score for the student ID, we used to pass this, right? Keep here normal student. Here and here this is array. For the variable, we used to pass the variable name here. So the whatever the value this variable contain, that it used to show. Can we do the same thing for the array? We'll see what will be the output here. So you can see this screen, right? What it came. Integer student ID is 101. That is correct. Array student ID. What it came. System dot int 32. It came the data type for array, which data type we are using, that it is showing. You can see here, right? Why it is not showing these values? Why it is showing the type of an data type? But here the same thing, right? We follow the same thing. Here the variable I passed, I am getting the value 101. But in case of array, if I pass the variable for object of this, what I am getting, I'm not getting the values. It is showing the type, which data type it is. Are we able to see the values for the integer? Yes, 101. But in case of array, it is showing this array is of integer data type. We are not getting values. Why we are not getting values? Because the values are not stored in the single memory location here. The values are not storing at a single place. You can see there are multiple values are there. It cannot show all the multiple values which are single, like accessing what we are accessing in the integer or the different data types. In array data type, we have to access individually. So how the where the array is stored? Array is stored in the index of 0. 101 is stored in the index of 1. 102 is stored in the index of 2. 103 is stored in the index of 3, and this is stored in the index of 4. So if you want to access these values, we have to access this array indexes, index of 0. If we are able to access the array index of 0, then you will get the value of 100. If you want to display the value 101, then you have to access index of 1. So here we have to access indexes, not the variable or the object. Individual indexes we keep on accessing. Okay, so we cannot show the same thing what we are trying to display for the integer. Okay, so the question is how we can display, how we can keep on accessing these values, how we can keep on accessing indexes of the array. So what we need here, how we can access with the help of looping statements. Right? The loop, what will do, it will keep on incrementing the size, right? Iterator. Going into picture, are you able to connect what this array, and are you able to connect in these arrays? For how the looping are going to help us? What does iterator do? Iterator will keep on increasing, right? Value from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until the condition fails. So here we will take the help of the looping statements, and we will iterate individually, starting with the 0 till the condition fails. That's it. Just a minute. Okay, so with the help of these looping statements, we will go it. Okay, for the which loop we have to go? We have the three, right? For loop, do while loop, and while loop. We are not studied. We are not discussed about the for each loop for that time. Just we'll hold, keep in hold. We'll discuss in the for each next class. So here we'll go with the for loop. Why? Why? Because we know the size well in advance. Okay. If we don't know the size, if the size is dynamic, how we can consider? Okay, we'll see here for loop I I equal to 0. Why 0? Because array index starts with the 0. So first we have to start with the 0 itself. If we start with the 1, then the index we have started with the 1. We will miss the value of the 0. So initialize the starting variable with 0. I equal to 0. I is lesser than array of student ID doc length. So if you don't know the size, but you know some size is there, you don't know what is that size, you cannot count it. It's too long, or the size is going to come dynamically very in advance here. Then you can go with the property called length. Array doc length, it will check what is the size of this array. Okay, condition dot array variable or array object dot length. Then what you have to do? Iterator. We need to increase the value, right? Because if the 0 is there, only it will able to access the 0th index. We want to access up to 5. So then iterator will increase 1. When the 1 is increased, then we can able to access the index of first one. When 2 is increased, we will access the value of second one. So we created the syntax, right? For the for loop syntax, we created for is there, initialization value is there, condition is there, iterator is there, and followed by the opening and closing bracket. Okay, for loop is ready. We create the for loop. Okay, in between the for loop, here is the body of the for loop. This is the body of the for loop. Here we will, here in this loop, within this loop only we have to display, right? Outside the loop we cannot, because the values cannot be incremented. If you want to increment any values, then we have to code within the looping statements, within these brackets. Yeah. So we'll show that console dot write line. So what we have to show here? Array values, right? Array. This is a string type. This will become hardcoded, right? This is the string. Here we are not showing anything, just we are showing a statement that will print. How we will show? Plus, to display an array, we have to access with the array object. Okay, the array object here, this one. In this, the memory locations, like the indexes, we can access through this, the variable what we mentioned for the array type. What's a variable name, or what's object name? Array object. Just go it and paste of I. Done, right? So what it's saying here we are accessing the array object and we are passing the I. Why we are passing the I? What does this I contain? I contain integer values starting from 0. If here I contains initially 0, means what we are calling, you can assume here, array underscore student id of 0. What is contained in the array student id of the 0th value, the first value. So we have to go for the second value, right? For the second value, we have, again, this iterator will help us. What does the iterator do? Iterator will increment the values for the previous one. The previous is 0, it will increment by 1, and here dynamically 1 will come for the in the next loop, second loop. Like this, how many times it will do? It will do till the conditions fails in the for loop. What is the for loop condition we kept? Array size dot length. Length is a property, it will pick up the size, what we have mentioned. What is the size here? 5. Less than 5, it will do. We cannot use for the less than or equal to here. If we go for the less than or equal to, what will happen? It will check. Even the length is 5, it is correct. But we are starting with the 0, so we have to remove less than. We have to remove the equals to. Okay. We will check. We will go with the debugger. Okay. Always when you want to check, when you want to confirm, it's a good practice, go with the debugger. Keep the debugger, just click beside this number. When you see it's a reg point, the reg mark comes, it says that debugger is ready. Whenever you run the program, when the program hit this line or this line, the debugger starts. Means dynamically you can see what the internally values are sharing, how the internal values are passing, how they are operating. So it's very good practice to go with the debugger. Okay, here you can see the array is created. How much value it stored? Just click on this mark arrow, you can see, okay, it contains 5 values, right? Or else select this part, double click on the select this variable or the object of the array, right click, quick watch, shift F9, you can see the here shortcut formulas also given, shift F9, select, or else just double click this part, only the, not entirely, only the this variable, this is only the object, right click and quick watch. Here you will see array type, okay, it's an integer with the 5 values. They open this, then you can see all the values that are there. Here you can see the clear light, here you can see some the clear picture. See here, it is array, right? What's the name? Array underscore student id. It has the 5 index 0, and here is the value, and here is the data type also it is showing. Important 3 columns it is showing. We are seeing the what's happening internally, what we are imagining till now. Those things we can see very clear in the picture representation, right? Array name, values, and the data type. Here itself we can see if it's any dynamic error you are going to get, you can identify here. For example, if you send integer here, it shows integer, then you can assume, okay, here it is a string, then I have mentioned the integer, so error is in the data type. So you can identify here itself. And also you can see the how these are storing internally. Array name 0 index, 1 index, 2, 3, 4. What the value storing for 0 index? 100. Here see how we are designed: 100, 101, 103, 104, and 105. So we say what we said, it will store in the sequential order. See, this is storing in the sequential order itself. 0, 100 first value, second value 101 in the first index, 103 second index, 104 third index, 105 fourth index. So in the for loop also, to get the value of 103, to what we have to access, we have to access for the index location of 102, sorry, index location of 2, right? So just click pass this. If I want to see the 104 value, then which index I need to pass? 0, 1, 2, 3. Just open the bracket, enter the value 3, and see, you can see only one value now. There is no opening here, there is only one value. Why? because you're passing the only one value. The index what you are asking for the student ID of array type for index 3. Index 3 contains one value, though that value we can see. If I want to see the index value of for the fourth one, you are able to see. But if here we can see only the one individually. The what index value you are going to pass, that index value, next index what is storing in the index of value of 0 is storing 101. Index value for the third it is storing 104. So means if you are hard coding only for the one thing, then only the one value you are going to see. If you want to see everything in a single shot, then we have to go for the loops here. In single shot, it is doing the same thing what we are doing here, right? In the for loop also, if we can see this properly, in for loop also we are doing the same thing what we are doing here, what we are practicing, what we are experimenting here. Same thing we are doing. Here we are hard coding one by one. Here, with the help of programmatically, we are incrementing the values. Means we come to know that the what value we pass in this index, that result we are going to see. That's it. Okay. Come press 10, and the index of initialization is 0, and you can see the length is, what is the length? Length is 5. Right. If you want to be more clear, select this part, right click, quick watch. You can see student dot length is 5. What is there? 1 2 3 4 5. Right. So the property of the length, it will show the length for the array sizes. What is the size you have kept for the array? It will display that. Press F10. Okay. Further, as we discussed in the for loop very deeply, it is not going to become for the iterator for the first time. For the first time, it will check only the initialization value and condition. If condition satisfy, it will come in. Iterator will not come into the picture for the first time. Okay, what is the value here? 0. What is index for the 0 it is storing? 100 value. If you want to see, select this part. Again, every step for every line, see the debugger values, see the quick watch, will come into the clear what's happening internally. Only one value I got it, not all. Why? Because I'm passing the ith value. What is ith value? 0. What is array of 0 is 100. Then it will go. It is going for the loop 2, looping statement. For a second, it is going. Okay. 1, earlier it was 0, now after incrementing 1. So it is checking back to the value 2. 2 is lesser than 5. Exactly, correct. It will come in. Now it will not going to check for the initialization. So initialization is coming to the picture only for the first time. When the loop is entering for the first time, initialization comes into the picture. For second time onwards, we are not going to check for the initialization because it's not required. Initialization only for the entry values. After entering it, from the second time, the values is keep on incrementing with the help of the iterator. After incrementing the value, it will check the condition. If it is satisfied, it will come in the for loop. If it's not satisfied, it will come outside the for loop and display whatever you have written just below the for loop, just after the for loop. Okay, then press F10. You can get the value here. Value is 1. Here you get the 2 till conditions fails. What is the value here? 4 is less than 5. Correct. Come. What is the value here? 5. This is false. Why? Because the I is 5. And what is the length? Length is 5. And what we are written? Lesser than we are written. I has to be lesser than the length. Is 5 lesser than 5? No. 5 is equal to 5. It's not lesser than. So, condition fails. If you want to see the condition, select this path hole, right click, quick watch. You can see false. Condition gets false. We want to see individually. See the first array length. What is the array length? Array length is 5. And see the value of this. What is the value of 5? Select, right click, quick watch. The value of I is 5. So 5 is lesser than 5? No. The statement goes false and it will come outside just after the for loop whatever written. Means next line after the for loop whatever you written. From there the program continues. Continue. And you can see the array values here. Right? Array values 100, 101, 103, 4 and 5. So this is how we are going to be display the array values with the help of the looping statements. Why we require the looping statement to display the array values? Because array contains multiple values with the different indexes. With the different indexes. Array, if you are storing the 5 values, then it is internally creating the 5 indexes. So with the one variable, with the one object, we cannot display everything. So we have to access individual block of 0, block of 1. So till we reach the size of the array, we have to access individually. If you want to access individually, what we need? We need something which is keep on incrementing the values. For that purpose, we are going to use looping statements. Why looping statements? In the looping statements, there is called iterator. Iterator will keep on increasing the values, and it will check the condition when the sizes breaks. Right? This is about the array values, array loop. Here we are displaying the array, and here we are initializing the arrays. Assigning the values array, and here we are displaying the array values. Right? So in this way we can display. For whenever we are storing the multiple values, not only multiple, just keep in mind whenever when we want to display an array values, we have to go with the looping statements, because to increase the index we require loops. Okay, so we know about some basics of array now. Okay, it will store the same memory location. Sorry, it will store the same data types in the sequential manner. Okay, it's important. Why I am stressing on sequential manner? Don't confuse, because we have to know how the values are storing internally. Only then we can display. Only then we can able to display the results. If we don't know where it is storing randomly, for example, 105 is storing in the second value, 100 is storing in the fourth value, then how are you able to display it? Okay, are you able to see now?
Yes, we can see now.
Okay, yeah. So we will go back the dynamic. We'll see. We'll create. Let's remove this. Go for the employee ID. ID equals to new again integer of size 5. Right? So what we are creating here for the employee ID, unlike the previous example, we are not assigning the static value. Here we assign the static values. Okay, so here we are not assigning the static values, we will assign the values dynamically. So here that's the reason we have to mention the size, how many values we are going to assign. Okay. So again the questions comes, how you assign the values? Because if you want to enter five values to store in the single object, in the single array object, then you have to enter the 5 times. So how the previously we used to read it, console dot I is lesser than array employee dot size. Why we are using this for loop again? Not to display, but to assign the values, but to read the values. So how to read? In the previous we cannot keep like just console dot read line the value, because there it is going to accept only one values. Here we need to accept 5 values depending on the array size. So let many type we need to enter the, we have to come into the loop. Okay, what is an console dot right line say read line. Okay, for that we will what it. Before how we used to do, we used to mention this block array of employee ID equal to, in the previous all the things we used to give. Okay, because of integer what we used to do, for the integer we need to convert, because console dot read it will convert only for the string values. So the integer array type is of integer, the data type is integer. For integer what we did, convert dot to int 32, right?
Also, it is console.readline, right? You mentioned console.read key.
Yeah, okay. Rake is also correct. Rake means rake will rake only the one character. Yeah, in
Right.
example, we have to go with the rake line. Transport read line. Yeah, it's a, this is the correct one. So what is going to happen here? It is going to require, it is giving error. Uh, Converts specific strings to the number of integer 32. Cannot implicitly convert integer to integer. Okay, why is giving error? You can see here below line, right? Cannot implicitly convert integer. If what we did is correct, the data type is integer, and we are converting this console dot read line string to integer. We are converting, but what it is saying, cannot implicitly convert integer to integer array. Okay, here we are using array, right? Then in that case we have to go for the array also here. Array, right? You got this? When you want to enter the values dynamically, then at that time you have to enter the values in the specific block. So if you enter the value 100, so where the 100 will store, the where the 101 is stored, the value means the value whatever you are entering in the array, you have to mention the array index also. So to read the values, to enter the values dynamically, again we need the looping segment. In the looping, the variable you cannot assign directly like a normal variable for normal data what we did previously. Here when we are working with the array, you want to read the value dynamically, then you have to mention array also. Means what will happen at the reading the loop, if we consider array of 0, so what the value you enter in the keyboard at the dynamic runtime, that value will be stored in the 0th index. Again it will come for the second loop. The second loop means index of 1, whatever value you are entering dynamically in the runtime for second time, that is going to be stored in the first index. Okay, this is for the reading the array dynamically. What we're doing, reading just we will here we display the things. Control S. Fine. So I can see the things, right? We are reading the values dynamically, and here we are displaying the things. Just keep the debugger. Okay. It's working. See, the work is array length is 5. Why is saying the array length is 5? We mentioned already. Length is 5. So we are reading the values within the for loop now. So when it came to inside, it came the value. Enter the value, starts with 100 or we'll check with now 200, anything. Again what we'll do? Again it's going to ask. Here you can see the things. You are reading the value within the loop. Means dynamically you are entering the values here. Previously we were hard coding, only one time it is asking. But here it is keep on asking us. 104. So even the reading the values, to accept the input value, we kept within the loop. So yeah, we kept within the loop. It will ask dynamically how many times we want. It will keep on asking like that many times. So you can see the values what is stored simultaneously. You can see here. If you select this, right click and quick watch, you can see what are the values you are stored up to now. Don't select for the index of 5, it will show only one values. If you show, yeah, it says okay, there are 5 values, you enter this many numbers. And again press F10, condition fails, right? So here what it will do, it will display. We already seen how it is going to display. These many values are stored. See, index of 0 contains 200, index of 1 contains 201, up to index of 4 contains 205. Here, if I keep hardcode index of 0, it will work, but it will show only one value, index of 0th value, what is contained 200. So if I want to show everything all, then I need to keep on increment. That's the reason we want the looping statements. Okay, just remove the debugger. Okay, you got it right. These are the values we have entered from the keyboard input, and these are the values output which are displaying after entering from the keyboard. We'll do some small experiment here. For example, I don't want to use a for loop. Is it possible to show only one value? I say okay, there are any number of values are there. I want to say randomly what is contained in the second. Control S. We are not using we are not using for loop for the displaying here. I say it may contain only 5, 10 or 100. I want to see only the second index without for loop. Is it possible? Let's see. First we'll enter the values. I'm removing the index for this for a while. I am keeping this here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So is it possible we took the for loop? Just select this part. Right click and the quick watch. It's showing the array with the index of 2 is the value is 203. So what we are going to get? We are going to get only one value in the output window. Only one value, right? You can see there is only one value. So is the for loop compulsory to show the output for the arrays? No. I never said, and the arrays also never say use for loop to show the array values in the output window. If you want to show array output, for loop is not compulsory. We can access the array values with the help of indexes. Indexes already is there. We can directly enter the index number, whatever it is, it will show. Why we need an array? But if I say I want to know, I want to see everything based on the condition, I cannot keep on entering the value like this, right? I cannot keep on keep on writing the program like this. This is also correct. If you see the program, this is also correct, but in the programming standards it will be considered as a bad programming. Control S, enter the value. We got the value here, right? What we are reading, that is got displayed. This is also correct. But exam, first it's a lengthy, unnecessary. You are increasing programming work, unnecessary. You are making the things complex. For loop is required to show the things dynamically. Okay, but only for loop is required to show the array values. It's wrong. Now why we use for loop? If you're not using for loop, then we have to hard code everything. 0, 1, index of 0, index of 1, index of 2, index of 3, index of 4. If the size contains 200, then 200 this will be there, right? To reduce the tag burden, to reduce that work, to make it simplicity, dynamically reading values, so we will go for the looping statements where the value is getting increment dynamically. You can see here optimization work. 5 lines is done in the 3 lines. Okay, you can say the difference. Okay, 5 and 3 only two lines we are going to save. What if the program is about 50 size, then this will be 50 times, right? Now see the difference. This many lines, 15 is there. Okay, to see the real time, we'll keep at 15. See, this many 15 lines is reduced to the 3 lines. Optimization, reading the value dynamically. So even it will save the errors. How it will save the errors? If checking the length, it is not going to allow to read the values mistakenly for the higher bound values. So here we can use the optimization technique, dynamic value, dynamic programming, and then it will also help you to debug very easily. That's the reason we will go with the looping statements to read and display the array values, because array contains in the indexes. So we have to read the array individually, one by one. That's the reason we will go with the for loop rather than these hardcode values. If it is 1 or 2, if you know the size is only 2, then you can go with this, no issues, no wrong. But when the size is dynamic, when the size is huge, go for the looping to display the values. Okay. Okay, I think it's better to wind up today here. So tomorrow we will see some more examples about the arrays, and we'll start with the array list. Okay. Another important thing one is array list. We will see tomorrow. Array list and difference between array list and the arrays. After array list, we'll go with the methods. We'll start methods and functions. Both are same. The namings are different. Methods and function. Here we'll try to spend at least 3 days. After this, we'll see about some collections. Array list also part of the collections only, but we'll see about list. Array list also part of collections only. All those things we'll see. Here we'll spend another